Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Jeff and Paper Gary. Today is February 1st. We're back in the garage to continue progress on our rudder. So I didn't get a whole lot done yesterday, but what I did get done was assembling the Pt.2 system that Hisham from Clemson Aeronautics sent me. And so far, I really like it. Now, when you're dealing with these big skins, and these aren't even big skins, I guess, when you're dealing with the skins at all, they're kind of bulky, they're cumbersome, they're hard to manipulate, even more so when you're trying to do that one-handed because you're operating either the pull-down lever of the RV-8 or if you have an old C-frame and you're trying to whack that thing with a hammer. So none of those are great solutions. It's always going to be a little bit awkward when you're manipulating that skin and trying to get the die into the hole that you're trying to dimple. But I will say the Pt.2 system works great when allowing the user to use both hands on the material and keep that nice and stable, and then operate the pneumatic squeezer that's attached to this Pt.2 frame to do the dimpling. So lot of bonus there, in my opinion, right? So it made that process much faster and much safer. And what do I mean by safer? When you're trying to manipulate that skin, and you may have seen this in other videos, and trying to pull that handle and that thing's doing what it does, there is a tendency for that skin to pop out of the die that it's in or not align correctly and get what's called a bonus hole in your skin, right? And so it's not hard, it doesn't take a whole lot of effort to use those dies to punch a hole through the skin if you're not aligned perfectly on the hole. So a couple tricks that you can do for that one. Turn the dies around, put your male die on the bottom so that you have gravity kind of helping to hold the skin in there. That helps a little bit. Take your time with it. Also, having the Pt.2 system where you can put both hands on your material, one hand to hold it down in place where you operate the pneumatic action of the squeezer with your foot, helps tremendously. So I really like that product so far. We're going to dig deeper into that, and probably another one of the tools that Hisham sent me for dimpling in close quarters, like on the ribs, and probably the stiffeners on the rudder, I think is what we're going to use that today. So we'll get to looking at that here in a little bit. Until then, let's just see where we get. So hoping to make a little bit more progress. We've got a lot of dimpling to do. We've got some edge cleanup, part cleanup, and priming to do before we can start getting into installing, back riveting, and putting together that sub-assembly. So stay tuned. Let's see what we learn. All right, jumping right into some really boring video. So I sped this up by like 40 times, I think, just to get through the monotony of you guys watching me dimple things. So this process is just very much the same. You guys have seen it before. You'll see it again, going through the whole thing to dimple all these holes. Now, I will say there's a point to watch out for here to avoid damaging your skin. When you get, if you are using this device, right, if you're using the Pt.2 system, it's great. It's really nice to have both hands to manipulate those parts and to hold it open, especially when you get to the holes that are near the bend, or what would be the trailing edge of the rudder. You can get in there with the dimpler, with the tool. However, if you are not careful to hold that material flat against the lower die, when you hit that pedal, you know, those things are going to move and you can possibly crease your skin. Now, I didn't do that. It was just kind of something I noticed that you have to be really careful. As you pull that skin open, it kind of wants to buckle and come up off the bottom die a little bit. And if you're not careful, right, you're gonna put like a crease and a bend in your skin. So watch out for that if you guys are using the Pt.2 system, which I do highly recommend. I'm not sure if the same thing will take place on the RV-8, but again, something to be watching out for. The rest of this is really just some of the boring parts prep of scotch-brightening, reaming holes, deburring, that kind of thing. So we're getting into back riveting, which is like my favorite style of riveting because it's fast, it's easy, and relatively foolproof. What I will say is one of these rivets that I was bucking, and again, this gets into that area that is the very first rivet closest to that bend. You got to pull that skin way open to get the rivet gun in there. And when I did so, that skin buckled. It came up off the backing plate. And when I riveted it, the rivet pushed back, much like the same problem I was having with the bucking bar, of holding the bucking bar too tightly against the tail end of the rivet.
and it's halfway through and, you know, started to rivet. So I'm going to have to drill one of those out. So just kind of be mindful of that. So Real-Time Jeff is on his way here to kind of reiterate and tell you the same thing I just told you here in Time-Lapse Jeff, or High-Speed Jeff. So it is important. It is something to be aware of. So you can't say I didn't warn you. All in all, it was a good day in the garage, and I had a lot of fun, and looking forward to being back. So I'm going to take this opportunity to turn it over to Real-Time Jeff, and we'll see you all again soon. Thanks for watching.
All right, friends, I'm out of time for today. Didn't get as far as I kind of had hoped to, but still made pretty decent progress. So got the parts prepped. Did not get to use this yoke from Clemson Aeronautics, the close tolerance one. I had already dimpled the stiffeners for the rudder, so I thought we were going to use them there, but no matter. We're going to use that later on for sure. So overall, today went pretty well. I did a little bit of off-camera work because you guys didn't need to see me scotch-brighting and cleaning up parts and prepping for paint. So parts got painted, primed, deburred, cleaned, all those kind of things, and then started to do some back riveting, as you saw. Had one of those rivets that pushed back through the other side, kind of like the same trouble I had when using the bucking bar and the rivet gun. It was the one closest to the trailing edge, which is where you really have to bend that skin up, as you saw. And I think I just kind of bent it up and was probably up off the steel backing plate a little bit. So no worries, we'll drill that one out, get it put in next time, and we'll keep going from there. So thanks for watching, everybody. Please take care of yourselves and each other. Jeff and Paper Gary out.